We live surrounded by influence. From the moment we are born, we begin receiving ideas about how we should be, how we should think, what we should value, and even what kind of life we should build. Family influences us. School influences us. Culture influences us. Social media does too. And in the middle of all this, many times we try to adapt, not always out of weakness, sometimes out of need, to belong, to avoid rejection, to feel that we fit somewhere, and that is deeply human. The problem begins when that adaptation becomes so constant that we stop listening to our own voice. Little by little, we begin making decisions not from what we truly feel, but from what looks right from the outside. We choose paths for approval. We repeat ideas out of habit. We show versions of ourselves that seem acceptable. And without noticing, we begin to move away from something essential: our authenticity. Being authentic does not mean living against the world. It does not mean rejecting everything external, nor does it mean acting impulsively and saying, "This is just who I am." Authenticity is not empty rebellion. It is inner coherence. It is the ability to recognize which parts of you come from truth, and which have been shaped only to please, fit in, or survive. And that difference is not always easy to see, because sometimes what we have repeated the most is what we most confuse with our identity. Maybe an opinion you never questioned, a lifestyle you assumed was yours, a way of relating that you learnt through fear, an ambition that was never truly born from within you. That is why stopping is so important, because only when we become quiet do we begin to notice how much noise was inside. Here is a key idea: social influence is inevitable, but being completely defined by it is not. There will always be external pressure, expectations, comparisons, models that seem to show the way. But there comes a moment when each person must ask an uncomfortable but necessary question: am I living the life I truly feel, or the life I learned I was supposed to live? Long where change begins, not when influence disappears, but when you stop obeying it automatically. Authenticity is not found in one single big decision, it is built in small acts of truth. When you say what you really think, when you choose what genuinely makes sense to you, when you stop holding on to an image that no longer represents you, when you allow yourself to be, even if not everyone understands it. And yes, sometimes that creates discomfort, because being authentic can change relationships. It can break expectations. It can make some people misunderstand your process. But it also gives something very valuable back to you, your center. Then important questions begin to arise. How much of what I live comes from me, and how much comes from external pressure? In what moments do I stop being authentic in order to feel accepted? Am I building my life from truth or from adaptation? This episode does not ask you to reject the world. It asks you to learn the difference between what influences you and what defines you. Because one thing is to live in society, and another very different thing is to lose yourself inside it. If this content brings you value, you can support the project by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. That way we continue building this space of reflection, awareness and growth together. This is not about isolating yourself from the world, but about returning to yourself in the middle of it. See you in the next episode.